Top stories at the Sawa, new developments regarding the release of the donor and commission, and Cricket South Africa bonus scandal hearings adjourned. Good afternoon. With the news at 1 o'clock, I'm Lulu Gabu. The presidency is reportedly consulting people who have been named in the donor and commission before officially releasing it. The report was initially scheduled to be released at 10 o'clock this morning. Deputy President Kgalema Motlanthe and Human Settlements Minister Tokyo Sekgwale are believed to be named in the report. Former President Thabo Mbeki established the commission in 2006 to investigate how money flowed from Iraq through Petro SA to an ANC bank account. SABC presidential correspondent Ntebo Mukobo has the story.
We're still waiting for the release of the report. At some point we're told that the report is available, but they're still waiting for people who are said to be implicated in that report to look through the report and to satisfy themselves, and if possible to comment on the contents of the report, and then it will be released, or thereafter it will be released to the public. And then from there it would be our opportunity then to engage the presidential spokesperson, Meg Maharaj.
The Commission submitted its report to the Presidency in June 2006. However, Mbeki referred it to the Justice Department for assessment and advice. Health Minister Aaron Motsoaledi says improving the quality of health care in the public sector and regulating the cost of care in the private sector are the key requirements for the success of the proposed National Health Insurance Scheme. He's been addressing a two-day NHI conference in Midrand, north of Johannesburg. Motsoaledi says unless the two are addressed, the NHI scheme will fail. SABC senior health journalist Thabile Maphanga has more.
Minister Motsoaledi has acknowledged that the public sector has a serious problem of providing bad quality of care. He says this will have to change soon in preparation for the NHI. Motsoaledi is also not happy with the infrastructure in the public sector that doesn't compare to that in the private sector, which he describes as the best in the world. The health minister has again criticized the private sector for the escalating cost of health care. He says he will not rest until this is addressed. Thabile Maphanga for SABC News in Johannesburg.
A newly released survey has found that many South Africans have no confidence in local government structures. The Institute for Justice and Reconciliation has released the 2011 South African Reconciliation Barometer survey in Cape Town. According to the survey, just under half of South Africans believe that service delivery protests are justifiable to air their grievances. Interviews for the survey were conducted from 3,000 individuals. Institute Director Fanny Dutoit.
Also, when one sees how quickly the national opinion in South Africa polarizes, around the singing of historic songs, for example, and so on. It is just a very stark reminder that we're not over some of our historical divisions completely, and that these things remain latent in society. It remains under the surface and can be revoked, and it can be used to mobilize people very quickly.
The hearings into the bonus scandal at Cricket South Africa have been adjourned for the rest of the year. The committee, sitting under the leadership of Judge Chris Nicholson, will now go into the next phase, which is to analyze the evidence it has received so far. It has heard submissions from various members of CSA, including past and present members of the Remunerations, Finance and Audit Committees, as well as the main protagonists in the scandal, CEO Gerald Majola and former President Mthutuzeli Nyoka. The committee will resume oral submissions on January the 16th next year. Some of those still likely to be called are former boss Ali Bacha and the chairperson of the Finance Committee, John Bester. The deadline for their final report will probably be around February next year. The South African Banking Risk Information Centre says credit card fraud in the Western Cape has increased by 108% this year. The centre's spokesperson, Kellyanne Pillay, says the crime has increased by 53% countrywide. She's been addressing the media in Cape Town. Pillay says the monetary value for such fraud is more than 400 million rand.
While the modus operandi in card fraud may change a little bit here and there, but the scams are sort of very similar at the end of the day. And I think, what we're saying to bank clients is that they need to be extra vigilant at all times, not necessarily because it's festive season. Obviously, during festive season, it's a busier time, there's greater spending happening, but they need to be vigilant and watch their cards all the time.
And finally, further afield, former Israeli President Moshe Katsav has arrived at prison in central Israel to begin a 7-year sentence for rape. Katsav served as president between 2000 and 2007. He was convicted last year of raping a female former employee during his time as a cabinet minister. Recapping the top story, the presidency is reportedly consulting people who have been named in the Donor Commission before officially releasing it. For more on these and other stories, go to the SABC News website, www.sabc.co.za/news. I'll be back with headlines at 1:30.
Otherwise on SAFM.